Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kobo Sports Room. Welcome back to another video. Yes, another coded location again. Another coded location again. And the Real Madrid election is has ended, of course. And then Florentino Perez has been re-elected as the president of Real Madrid Football Club. Mind you, in Spain, presidency is big. Presidency in club football is big. It's not like England where they appoint a president of a particular club. No, but in Spain and then some part of Germany, even in Turkey, football presidency is big. It's just like the normal, presidency in our various nations, whether it is US, whether it is Ghana, where you have the NDC, MPP. When you go to US, there's Democrats, there's Republicans, and all of that. Presidency is big in Spain because they are moved by the social structure or the social kind of running a football club. That is why you cannot just get up and go to Spain and go and buy a club. Unlike England, you can come to England, come bring your money, come and buy a club, and then invest in clubs. But in Spain, it doesn't move like that. So the socios, over 100,000 socios, has gone to the polls to go and re-elect Florentino Perez as the next or as the president of the Real Madrid Football Club once again. Now, the event building to the election, that is what we are coming to talk about here. And we'll talk about the aftermath of the election, what is going on, and all of that. But presidency is changing. Presidency is changing. Now, European presidents are moving like African politicians. I wrote this on my social handles. I wanted to go to radio to go and explain this, but I didn't get a chance to do that. But let me do it here. Presidency in various European clubs, unlike first, now they are moving like African, president or African candidate, presidential candidate. Why am I saying this? Now, we all know events building to the president or presidential election, there was Henrique Riquelme and then Florentino Perez promising what they would do when they are re-elected or when they are elected as the president of Real Madrid. And it is very unfortunate that they were using players to win election. If you want to win election, it is not only about players. And I will tell you the reason why Henrique Riquelme was using Ellen Haaland and then Rodri. But if you want to win election, as a club president, first of all, you need to bring your project, what you have for the club. And it's not only about players. What structures do you have for the club? What is the nemesis of the club? What is the enemy of the club? What is facing the club? What is the club going through? And what can you do to vindicate the club? What can you do to serve as a redemption for the club? That is what you should be doing. What is your long-term project for the club? What kind of development are you bringing into the club? That is what presidency is all about. That is what politics is all about. Politics is about development. It is not about giving empty promises. So they are moving like African presidents. They promise the people and they cannot deliver the promises. That is what they were doing. Now, this happened when in 2000, Florentino Perez was coming in as he wasn't really a young man because Enrique Riquelme is that young when Florentino Perez was coming into power, like 26 years ago. Florentino Perez is still old. Enrique Riquelme is young, is very young for someone to become a Real Madrid president at your age. He's too young for that. Your connections, how you see football and all of that. He's kind of young for now. But of course, the young blood is there. You should give the young people the chance. But I have my reservations about that. Whether we should give the young people the chance or we should not give the young people the chance. I don't really trust the young people, even though I am a young person. I don't really trust the young people like that. So I have my personal reservation about that. But so when Florentino Perez was coming in 2000, there was a president in Real Madrid called San Lorenzo. Now, San Lorenzo was the president for Real Madrid. Florentino Perez used Luis Figo to win the election in 2000. So he promised the Real Madrid socios that when he comes, he's going to bring in Luis Figo. As at that time, Luis Figo was one of the key players, if not the key player, in Barcelona. So he was playing good football, top player in Barcelona, and he was one of the key players in Barcelona. Now, Florentino Perez is telling you when you vote for him, he's going to bring the key player of Barcelona, Luis Figo. So they voted for him, and then he brought Luis Figo. Now the difference, even though it's the same, but the difference between Riquelme's, promises and then Florentino Perez promises of 2000 is that Florentino Perez had already finished the deal with Luis Figo, so he just needed, the power to become the Real Madrid president to bring in Luis Figo. But Enrique Riquelme, he was just making empty promises, and that is his problem, and that is what killed him in the election. He was giving empty promises. Today he will mention Rodri's name, tomorrow he will mention Haaland's name, and the next day he will mention Jurgen Klopp's name, and then two of these signers or two of these, football people, their agency came out to come and debunk the whole news. It is Rodri that I didn't hear anything about that, because in Rodri's case, Rodri has shown that he would like to play for Real Madrid. So if you are bringing in Rodri, it's not going to be a difficult task. It's not going to be a difficult task at all, because Rodri has shown that he wants to play for Real Madrid. So all you need to know is go and negotiate with Man City to bring in Rodri. Now, Pep Guardiola is not there. Because if it was Pep Guardiola and Rodri wants to leave, he will leave. All you need to do is to find an agreement with the club and find an agreement with the player, which is not going to be a problem for Real Madrid. But now Enzo Maresca is coming in, so we would like to know what Enzo Maresca's principle of coaching will be, or principle of management. We would like to see what it will be, whether he was going to follow the tangent of Pep Guardiola or he's not going to do that. But that is what is going on. Rodri's transfer wasn't going to be a problem, but Haaland's one is going to be a problem. Jurgen Klopp has shown that he holds one of the top positions in Red Bull football group or football model. So he's not going to leave that job to come and coach Real Madrid. He's comfortable there. He's going to leave that. He has said it time and time again that I am comfortable at where I am. I'm not going to leave my job to come and coach Real Madrid, where a player power is so dominant in that particular team. So Riquelme was making empty promises like an African politician, same as Florentino Perez. Because Florentino Perez is saying that tomorrow on Tuesday he's going to launch 150 million euros bid for Michael Olise. Now, why I am telling you that the promises is an empty promise is that Ulise's transfer to Real Madrid is one of the most difficult things to do in the world right now. Because one, Ulise has not shown anything publicly that he would want to play for Real Madrid. Now tell me, after a season Bayern Munich had, after a season Ulise had, what will push Ulise to move from a Bayern Munich team to a destabilized Real Madrid team? That even a new coach, Jose Mourinho, is coming in to come and solve managerial issues, how to manage the players. Why would he do that? Tell me, why would he do that? Secondly, Willie Wyners has made it publicly, clear that he's not going to sell Olise. Even if it is going to take 200 million, he's not going to sell Olise. So what is Florentino Perez going to do? Now, Florentino Perez will promise you that because he's a politician, he will promise you he will send a 150 million bid, knowing very well that it is going to be unsuccessful. And he will come back and tell you, I tried my best, but they didn't accept the bid, and there is nothing we can do. Now he has been re-elected as the president. He will continue his job as the president. That is just it. That's why I'm saying they are moving like what? African politicians. They make empty promises, and they know themselves these promises are unachievable. They cannot deliver these promises, but they will make the promises to you, knowing very well that you will fall for it. Because politicians, all they do is to tell the people what they want to hear. That is what politicians do. You see, so Florentino Perez has won the election, I think, on 65% by Florentino Perez and 34% around there for Enrique Riquelme. What it means is that there are a good number of people in the Real Madrid socios that are not happy with Florentino Perez's job. Yes, Because if he's going to come, a young guy like this, he's going to come and will put 30 something percent as against you, Florentino Perez, who has been a president for 26 years. It means that there's a good number of people in the Real Madrid socials that are not happy with Florentino Perez. So you should be careful. And the reason why I'm saying this is that Riquelme said it, that congratulations to Florentino Perez, but the war is not done. He is going to come back. And if Florentino Perez this years in front of him, he doesn't do well, Riquelme's campaign is going to skyrocket in the Real Madrid socials. And it will not look good for Florentino Perez. So there's a good number of people that are not happy with Florentino Perez, and he should check that. Now, Florentino Perez, if you send the Ulisse bid and it's not successful, make sure what is worrying Real Madrid, you will make sure you settle that one. You have already brought in Denzel Dumfries, top player. He's coming in to come and help the right back situation for Real Madrid. And Ibrahima Konate is questionable, but you are bringing him in. He's also going to help the situation, and you want to bring in other players. Make sure the issues concerning Real Madrid, you solve that. The player power that is in the team, that is worrying the team, make sure you solve that. That is what is going to, help Real Madrid moving forward. What legacy are you leaving after 26 years? What legacy are you leaving? That is what Florentino Perez should be thinking about. So ladies and gentlemen, this is an editorial about the Real Madrid election. Florentino Perez has been re-elected as the Real Madrid, president again after 26 years. Click on the subscribe button, press the notification bell, follow us on our social media platform. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time and peace.